Parliament of Antigua and Barbuda amended the Antigua and Barbuda Port Authority Act, Cap 333, Amendment 2023, and that amendment provided the provisions and direction for the port manager to effect particular actions against vessels. Vessels that are abandoned, vessels that are sanctioned, vessels that are in fact posing a threat to the ecological, the economic, as well as the safety of the navigation in all harbors. The Antigua Port Authority is responsible for all harbors in Antigua and Barbuda, and as such, we have arrived at the clear understanding that in its current condition, particularly in the condition where the crew intended to leave and abandon the vessel, that could have left us in a very precarious position, because that vessel would be a significant challenge for us. It could yield many issues. One of them would be navigational concerns around how we would manage, maintain, and upkeep that vessel would be staggeringly difficult for the government and the Port Authority. So based on the legislation and the directive from the Minister of the Port, Honorable Prime Minister Gaston Brown, as well as the Attorney General, Honorable Stedboy Benjamin, I have been tasked with the responsibility to seize the Alfa Nero this morning. I will be effecting that action shortly, providing that the additional team members, those are from the Ministry of Legal Affairs, Antigua Department of Maritime Services. I have my marine manager, the chief pilot, here with me, and we will all, along with the marina management, move over to the ship. I have an order of seizure that I will place on the ship. At that point, the Alfa Nero will now become the property of the Antigua government through the Port Authority. Once that's effected, we will then proceed to do four things. The first one is to ensure that we have dialogue with the crew in relation to their current status and their future status. The crew is a critical component to the vessel. They are the key individuals, technical individuals who understand what's required to maintain the vessel, and so we aim to ensure that the crew is engaged. We will have discussions with them, as well as all their past liabilities. The government has already committed to ensuring that whatever we do is actually they are actually facilitated first. So the crew is primary to us. The second item we have would be to ensure that we have a proper maintenance regime in place, and that would be done with the Antigua Yacht Club. We ask if the vessel is here at the marina, we'll be speaking to them in that respect. Additionally, we have to ensure that the liability on the vessel is in place, and so we have started the process of looking at the necessary property and indemnity insurance that will cover the vessel. That is a work in progress, and we'll ensure that that is done. And finally, we have to ensure that now that the asset belongs to the government, that we ensure that the vessel is safe and the necessary security put in place. So four things: the crew, maintenance and sustenance, liability, and security, and four items that we're going to have to look at thereafter. So in short order, once the team arrives, we shall be moving to effect what would be in fact the transfer of ownership from the current unknown or non-responsive owners to the government of Antigua, thereafter which we shall proceed to liquidate in a direct sale or through an auction.
Can I confirm that nobody has come forward to claim the yacht?
Here's what I can confirm. On the 21st of March, I issued a detention notice to the owners, and as of today, and by the way, that detention notice would have ended 10 days after it was delivered. That would have been Monday, the 31st. However, the provisions in the law said that we would have had to advertise it in an international through an international medium. That was not sent to that medium until the 28th, which is why today we have adjusted the date to yesterday, and today we're taking this action. So the first 10 days no one showed up, the extended period no one showed up, so we have no known person that is saying they in fact own the Alfa Nero, nor has anyone arrived to remove it from its current location. So we have a perilous arrangement about to befall us, where the crew has definitely said that they intend to abandon ship. The vessel requires approximately 28 to 30 people to operate efficiently. There's only 5 people left. So even in its current state, it is undermanned and may very well, under IMO requirements, be considered to be illegitimately manned for the size of the vessel and for all of what it needs to allow it to move safely. So certainly a challenge, and we, having had no one show up, we are taking this action.
All the legal hurdles have been overcome, because everything has been done in terms of what the law requires.
The law is pretty straightforward. I sent a copy of the amendment to each of you, so you can see what it says. I've also ensured that the gazetted document was sent to you. It explains itself very clearly, and we have the legal authority to execute what we're about to do. We have given the owners what the law requires that they do, which is the appropriate amount of time to come in to address this matter. They have not, and therefore it is a straightforward issue. There's no owner at the expiration of the time allotted, and therefore the law kicks in.
The 5 crew, they're going to stay on the island to help with the maintenance, is that correct?
We can't speak to that right now because we have not yet taken possession of the ship. Our intention is to ensure that we have the key capacity, technical and otherwise, in place to do so. The crew is best positioned to do that. We'll be having that discussion with them.
Because obviously they, as you mentioned before, they're the ones with the expertise of this particular vessel.
Like I said, let me make it even clearer. As the state, we would now take possession of a very, very valuable asset. It is in the state's interest that that asset is sufficiently cared for and protected, and therefore we would ensure that if we have access to that quality of expertise and talent, that we would discuss with them. The reason I can't say yea or nay is because they are independent individuals, and we would have to have a discussion with them. This is why also, of the 4 things that I mentioned we have to do, number 1 is to meet with the crew.
So I mean, theoretically you can pay them to stay and maintain while the sale goes through.
They'll be engaged by the state.
Yeah, okay. And have you opened the bids yet?
We cannot open a bid on something that we don't own, and we also would be prohibited from opening a bid prior to having the sanctions issue addressed.
So you're going to do that today?
So we have some legal concerns that we have to address, and so what I can say officially is that we are not in a position to say that there's an open bid. There are lots of people sending information about what they wish to do. Those are provisional. As a matter of fact, none of those things would be applicable because we do not have access to the asset to transact any sort of business. We are about to have access to the asset, and from the moment we have access to the asset, the game starts over. So if you are interested, first we'll have to lay out the parameters, and once those are laid out, then individuals will make their interests, their concerns clear, and we will address it.
And they previously said they were going to change the name. Do you know what they're going to change the name to, and if they're going to have a proper name changing ceremony?
Who said that?
The government.
The reflagging of a vessel goes through many different stages. I am responsible for the vessel, and what I would say is we are in discussions with Antigua Department of Maritime Services. I was on the phone from 6 a.m. with the director this morning as well, Ambassador Dwight Gardner, and we went through a number of scenarios. That will be communicated to you when we have cleared up all of the local, regional, and international requirements that we need to do. So I won't comment on that right now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.